Hi, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who are new here, welcome. I am Dr. Lexi. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. In today's session, we're going to talk more about Black culture and therapy. So, some of the misconceptions, and then just some questions to answer regarding how to pick a therapist, especially if you are Black. So, stay tuned. So, can your therapist really understand the Black experience as a Black person? So, when we think about therapy, we therapists come in all different shades, colors, cultures, religions, all those things, right? It's important to realize we are people first. One of the major things with seeing a therapist is, are they trauma informed, right? That's going to be really important, as well as cultural competence. Asking those questions when you are vetting your therapist in those first few sessions, when they ask you if you have any questions, you ask those questions. Are you culturally competent? Have you done your training? Don't be scared to ask those things, especially if you're going to be opening up and being vulnerable with this person. Also, it's important to remember that your experience is unique to you. And so when you're talking to someone, you really want them to be listening deeply to the things that you have going on. Because even though a therapist may look like you, that does not mean that they have experienced the same things that you have. Listen, you may have been born in the hood and they may have been born in the suburbs, right? So there's going to be some cultural differences between you two and between your experiences, even though you are of the same complexion. I think the biggest thing is just realizing that everybody is made different. And that we do still have to just ask all the questions, what are their social dynamics? What is their experience with racism, bias, microaggressions, those kinds of things. Okay, so how do you know if your therapist has an unconscious bias? So it can show up very prominent, right? It could be very prominent in your face, and you're like, okay, I see it. But sometimes it may show itself in subtle ways where, they'll make assumptions about your culture, the way that you grew up, or family dynamics, making comments as, oh, was your father around? Those kinds of things. So it's really important to watch out for those things. And then again, asking those questions ahead of time, as far as, w- have you ever helped someone with race and cultural identity? Have you ever had any Black clients previous to me? So making sure that you ask those questions is going to really help with understanding or having awareness of what kind of therapist you have, because you're going to hear their responses to those questions, and almost immediately you will know, okay, this person's for me or this person is not for me. Is it okay to want a Black therapist? Yes, absolutely. It is okay for you to want a Black therapist. It can sometimes, especially when you find the right one, it can sometimes take away that necessity to feel like you have to code switch, to guard yourself, to have to educate somebody else on cultural norms or generational traumas. It definitely feels like you have more of a connection with your therapist when they come from the same culture as you, right? Again, I will refer back to some of the previous statements I've made for some of the other questions. Even though you have a Black therapist, it doesn't always mean that they understand the culture. So you still want to vet your therapist. But yeah, long story short, like it is perfectly normal and fine for you to want a black therapist. I know some of us have heard this statement: you don't need therapy, you need God, right? Or they refer to going to therapy as the crazy people or the crazy place. You need to be crazy in order to go, right? That is false. Along with this idea that you have to choose between your religion and going to therapy, I think they work in conjunction with each other. Healing is emotional, it is psychological, it is spiritual. And so you shouldn't have to choose between the two. You should be able to use all the tools in your toolbox, which also includes God and religion as being a part of your healing journey. So that is the end of our questions for today. However, if you would like part two, be sure to comment with any questions that you want answered. And always remember that you come first. And yes, as a Black community, we have struggled in the area of mental health, which has made us very hesitant to even seek help. But I have hope for our generation and for ending these generational curses and just being able to, get past that trauma that we have experienced. We all know that trauma that we experienced. And when we think about epigenetics and how it still lives in our bodies, our souls, and our minds. And so, definitely going to a therapist is going to help in navigating the things that we have been through. Again, I want to thank you all for coming and tuning in. If you're new here, thank you. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment any questions that you'd like to hear going forward. All right. See y'all next time.